What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday morning to every single one of you guys. Happy Saturday afternoon and maybe Sunday to some of y'all over there. Appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. A little late start we didn't know what the rain was going to do, but we do have some racing here, some practice and qualifying. So it's not going to be Group A practice, Group B practice. It's going to be all the cars for Group A and Group B. You're going to practice for 40 minutes. Our good friend Ricky in the chat let us know that. So I was like, all right, let's go live. So 12:45, so about 5 more minutes. The cars are going to roll. But welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Ricky, what's up? Richard, Lloyd, what's going on? Ricky is again. Suzanne, hello, Triton, Pastel, Tony, Vegas was up. What's going on there? Eric Church, what's up, dude? Richard Card, Triton as well there. Said him already. Let's see who else is here. Anybody? I love how y'all hang out before the track, before the races even start. Y'all are in the chat for hours, and Bronny's always here hanging out, and I appreciate him being here watching over the chat. Eric Church dropping those 54s. Kelly, what's going on? Bronny, what else here? Kimberly, no more same old Austin Dillon stories. Ethan, what's going on? He says, let's go, Joey Logano. Real Shark says, Denny. And we're still a little bit of rain, but hopefully we can get both of these in today. We have the Xfinity race as well right after this. Well, what's y'all's opinion on Austin Dillon keeping the win? It is what it is. And I guess racing will be different from here on out because no one's going to make a change or take a chance on that. And then Bronny dropping some news with Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer going to the Haas factory team in Xfinity Series. Creed to the 00 and Sam Mayer to the 41. So I guess the 98 is going away. I guess Herbst is leaving. It hasn't really had any qualification that he's leaving yet, has he? Unless I missed that somewhere. But, yep, we had a little rain, but we're going to be having some fun here. Let's go to the main page, and let's get our leaderboard in. So it's Group A, Group B practice here. So that should be interesting, and we'll see how that goes. So Group A, Group B, and then we'll do some qualifying, and then we're going to hopefully have our pole setter for tomorrow. So who do you think's going to get the pole here, guys? Let me see who you got. Give me who you got for the pole today.
By picking 5 drivers plus a garage driver to compete. Fantasy Live, it lets you keep tabs of your lineup and make in-race adjustments to maximize your score. Visit NASCAR.com/.
All right, we're good to go.
If you're in the area, make sure to
the third car for 2311
on the lake. Today, we continue on with Countdown to Green for Xfinity Series. Countdown to Green is 3 o'clock, racing at 3:30. Then tomorrow at 2 o'clock, Countdown to Green, Cup Series racing.
We'll be live about 2:15, maybe 2:10. Where to watch for free? You'll have to have a NBC Sports app or something like that
for the latest trends
to watch it. But right here is probably the best that you're going to be able to find with audio and everything. So appreciate everybody being here. Thanks so much. What's up, Jake, Teresa, Dalton? I got Tyler Reddick for the poll. Let's see who else. Lemon says Blaney. Jason's going Sheldon Creed. I believe Herbst will end up. I got Ricky there. Dean says Martin Truex Jr. for the poll. Aussie, what's going on? How you doing? Appreciate you being here. But yes, rest in peace, Scott Bloomquist. So tomorrow during our race, sometime during our race, we will honor Scott Bloomquist with that horrible accident with the airplane. Flying his own airplane and crashed. And it's sad. So we'll honor him as well, like Dale Sr., and we'll honor him too. So we'll check that out. Also, I don't know if I'm going to do it today or I'll do it tomorrow, but we're going to give another, we're going to try the giveaway again because the guy that won could not take it. And I know it's getting down to the nitty gritty, but we got to give these away. And if no one has it, then no one has it. But we're going to try. We're going to pick 4 winners tomorrow, and whoever, you'll be in line, and that's how we'll do it. So thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button for us, hit the subscribe, and love to join our channel here. So let me put the ticker on here so you guys know what's going on in our sports world. But thank you guys for being here. Thought there's only 2 VIP tickets. There is, but I'm picking 4 winners. So if the first winner can't go, the second winner wins. If the second winner can't go, the third winner wins. If the third winner can't go, the fourth winner wins. We're not going to deal with this stuff. So We're going to try. An hour ago, I watched the interview with Scott and Dale Jr. Really great dude, Kelly said. So let's go 6. Richard Carr says 6. 6, I wanted to become a member again, but it's not giving me the option. Only a super chat. All right, 1 second. I'll get you the link for that. 1 second here. I'll do it here. 1 second. Give me just a minute and we'll get it going. But keep on hitting that like button as you're coming in, guys. Current rumor is RFK is getting a Kroger sponsor next season. Interesting. So Ricky Stenhouse is not going to have it.
It's a little bit shortened because of a passing shower that came through. And
well, shortened or lengthened. It depends on how you want to look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so now it's just going to be a combined. Everybody's going to go out on the racetrack at the same time.
There's Triton. Click on that, Lloyd.
Minutes. So, you hear teams talking about wish we had more practice, more time. I think it would help us. Well, we might get a little shot of that. Question is, Steve, you only got 1 set of tires.
Well, that's the problem. 1 set of tires, potential rain in the area. If the weather looked great, I would sit for 5 or 10 minutes, let the track get a little bit of rubber on it, then I'd go out. But with potential rain in the area, I'd probably have to roll right away.
No Truex in car tomorrow. Okay.
Dave, what are you hearing on pit road?
Well, let's ask one of the crew chiefs, Phil Surgeon, for the one team, and Ross Chastain, whose team is tied at the cut line for the playoffs. So this is kind of significant that you're getting delayed on practice here. How do things change now when everybody is scheduled to go out as a big group?
Yeah, I feel like conditions are more similar for everybody and more similar to the race. So I actually prefer going out as a big group
than
A and B.
How good's your weather radar or your weather forecaster here?
11, Trey.
Not very. Obviously, we rely on the same radar everybody does, and it's right now it's really hard to predict. It's broken up, it's intermittent, and some of the stuff we're getting some drizzle, and it's not on the radar.
What did you talk about as a team this week? Because obviously, every point is important. I would think every lap is important, but how do you try to stay focused this week?
Yeah, everybody's just got to be perfect. Dot the I's, cross the T's. Nothing different than we've done all year. Just no mistakes.
60% chance,
mistakes
Barry.
are what's going to take us out of it. And if everybody does their job and we perform, we'll be there.
All right, guys, that's easy, right? Stay perfect. No problem, right?
I like the confidence.
Done.
Well, I like the confidence, Rick. We don't have to do anything different. We feel like we're good enough. And for this one team of Ross Chastain, this and Daytona are probably
the good thing is the drivers are in their cars. So that's the reason why I went live.
Circled for Ross. Ross runs really good at Darlington.
Yeah, Jones with the contract extension as well.
Not always getting the finishes he had hoped, but has fast race cars.
Yeah, you have to focus on controlling the things you can control. And if the guys around you have problems, or even if they have great days, you have to just maximize your opportunity. And that's what the nerves about these practices are, is that you don't really know what you have until you roll off pit road and you drive into turn one wide open for the first time. You've spent time in the simulator. Your team's done the best they know to do to build the best race car, but they don't always get it right, and you don't always drive it right. So
I hear cars.
That's why these practices matter.
They're
so
on.
3 races remain before the playoffs.
We're rolling.
Michigan, Daytona, Darlington. So 3 very different racetracks. As we hear the firing of the engines, and
I like it too,
cars about
Ricky.
ready to roll. As we mentioned, it will be one big group that will be able to go out for 40 minutes. And Steve, with only 1 set of tires, how do you really attack this session now that it's so different from what you were anticipating?
Well, I would treat it a lot like what probably I had planned for 15 minutes or 20 minutes of practice. So I'd go out, and I'd still like to run, say, 10 laps. The big concern is, with all the cars on the track at once, it's going to be way busier than you're used to. Now you're going to have these aero situations. So I'd like to go and run at least 10 laps. The difference is
that Dinger back to full-time ride as well. I don't know why he left in the first place.
I would come in, maybe sit 5, 10,
bad
12
decision.
minutes. Let the tires really cool down. Take a little bit more time to dissect the change we're going to make. And I think that might help, pick it up better read on the second run. Like I said, I would prefer to wait because the jet drivers have been on the racetrack, but you just heard Phil Surgeon talk about this mist that doesn't even show on the radar. The last thing you could be is so clever that you're going to wait for the track. As you see, very few are going to take that option as the pit road's very busy. I think you have to get a few laps in.
They all pulled out at the same time.
We'll see who's the aggressive one first. It might be Chase Elliott. Dave?
I think crew chief Scott Graves might agree with Steve there. This was his word to Chris Buescher.
I think it's probably about to do the same thing. It's just a very light mist. It's starting to hit. Okay. Yeah,
why did they just do qualifying?
Rain was on its way.
She just went straight to qualifying.
1 o'clock? Yeah, 2-4.
They said normally we would wait around. We were thinking about doing that here, but just with the time and the weather and the way things are here, let's get you on out there.
We got 39 minutes
about tracks
here.
and rain, never good anywhere. I'm not sure I could think of a worse track. I mean, this place is breathtakingly fast. It is, you know, we might see higher speeds here or there in like moments throughout the season, but when you just look at overall pace,
he's 193 mile an hour. He's on the track.
Schedule, right? Bigger tracks, Daytona, Talladega, reduce horsepower. Here at Michigan, even since the repave, which is now over a decade old, Jeff, you and I were just out there, smooth as glass. So while the grip is dwindled,
wouldn't that be crazy, Robert?
No real bumps to speak of.
The other issue, because it's 2 miles long,
I thought about
it can be
taking Todd Dillon for the win tomorrow,
you know, you've got
as my dark horse.
Has got to be paying attention to this entire race.
But I think it's going to be Blaney or Keselowski.
Speed you were talking about, Steve, already over 190 miles per hour at the start-finish line.
No, this is their first minute on the track. Chase Elliott up to 200 mile an hour.
Out of the gas here with the pass. No, I mean,
he was 203 entering turn.
What's up, Martin? Am I kidding?
And this is what I talked
about.
No,
I mean it's a super. It's like a super speedway. They get up there pretty fast. There you go, Lloyd. Thank you so much, buddy.
He's trying to back off because he doesn't want to be in that dirty air. He wants to get a read on his car. Now you'll be in dirty air in the race.
Thank you, sir.
You're
awesome, buddy.
You're not trying to get a read on your car. You're trying to race. This is practice. You're just trying to understand what you have. I mean, Ty Gibbs had 191 mile an hour average.
I think him not making the playoffs hurts more than him not winning the race.
Here at Michigan.
What's up, T-Van?
Gibbs, Hocevar, 2 fastest for laps up to this point.
And it sets an example.
Truex Jr. jumps up to the top of that chart.
The power of the pickles. That's right.
We're watching Chase there, and now here's Ty Gibbs.
If you need me to scroll up, let me know. I can definitely scroll up for you guys.
These clouds, potential rain in the area, that's got the track temp way down. Even though we're starting this time of day, the track temp's going to be
hitting
cold.
that subscribe. Keep on hitting that like button for us.
Right now, tons of grip.
I'm afraid that YouTube didn't really send out the notification.
Like right around the corner. Cooled off a little bit recently, but not really egregious mistakes. Just, I don't know. I can't really put my finger on exactly where this 54 is. Overall, it just seems like their pace is down versus some of their teammates.
Well, he had the engine issue a couple races ago, and I think that left TRD kind of scratching their head as to what's going on as we see the red flag coming out. I think there's precipitation, on turn 1.
Yeah.
Jeff, you mentioned it. You could have it rain in one corner of this track, and the sun could be shining in the other. It's so big.
Well, and interestingly enough, we talked about getting on the
That's
racetrack.
a bummer.
Todd Gilliland, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch, the 38, the 11, and the 8, chose to wait it out. So they have had no laps yet. We'll see if this weather
Denny
passes,
didn't go. Kyle Busch
becomes more severe.
So very short track time for most of the cars here. And now a little precipitation has brought them back to pit road.
That's a bummer. So we'll just hang out here and see what happens. But hopefully we'll get the Xfinity race in today. Maybe we'll have to do it tomorrow morning. I don't know. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Hit that like button for us. Subscribe to the channel, as we'll be bringing you today's race, hopefully, for the Xfinity race, the Cabo Wabo 250. And then tomorrow for the FireKeepers Casino 400 flag-to-flag coverage for you guys. You're welcome, Brenda. And make sure to check out our preview vlog that we released yesterday. Make sure you go check that out. Give us that a like and a comment as well. That always helps the algorithm. Let me know who you think is going to win and your favorite paint schemes for the week. But we do that every Friday for you guys to get ready for the weekend. And then next weekend, we head to Daytona. More rain probably in Florida, right? So Daytona International Speedway, my favorite track of all time. We're going to be given the, normally Daytona is the cutoff for the playoff race, but this year it's at Darlington. So we'll be at the track Too Tough to Tame, the Darlington track the next weekend. And that will be our schedule. So we got this week, then Daytona, and then Darlington. So we'll find out who makes the playoffs, who doesn't make the playoffs, and it should be an interesting way. So you stopping at Fort McCoy for a visit? Nope, I am not. You did a good vlog, Seal. Thank you, Richard. Lloyd says, I'd really like to see Busher do well and get in the playoffs. He's so close. Yeah, so close for a win. Robert says, I want a new winner. Ty Gibbs is my hopeful pick. We'll see if he can finally win one. Seems like every time he has a good car in the weekend, something happens to him, and he doesn't. No tire options, only at Richmond so far. Yeah, and they don't have rain tires for this weekend. They can't have rain tires doing 200 miles an hour. But yeah, it should be interesting to see later on in these races when it comes down to the last second lap. Like, is a driver going to not be more aggressive from there on out because of the ruling of what NASCAR did to Austin Dillon? Nobody wants to be in that position. So.
Has brought the field back to pit road, so a very short practice session, not even 4 minutes, that they were on track for just a few, actually 31 of the.
Will they move the race to Monday? I hope not, Wyatt.
34 cars
I hope not.
Get out on track, but you see a little bit of precipitation on the lens of the cameras here, and we'll be embedded with the 21 of Harrison Burton. This is what Harrison had to say about that very short time on track.
They did it last year.
Rain's picking up pretty hard. Yeah, I mean, obviously never got a lap up to speed. Got one corner behind the 54, that was good. I was still behind him. Pretty close and got loose on exit. Don't really have a good read on anything, though. Obviously just kind of finding our gap, and then rain picked up. Overall, felt loose, and I do not like the new steering at all. It's like
he's not happy.
My pinky.
So not a complete waste of time, because he was very adamant feedback about the steering, move it with his pinky. So I don't know if maybe they've changed some of the hydraulic assist, something that they're trying on this 21 car. But you could tell overall balance of his car. He's kind of indifferent, doesn't want to commit to anything. One little arrow moment.
Lloyd says he picked Hamlin to win. Every time Sela predicts Blaney, Hamlin wins.
You only get 2 or 3 laps. You can get more confused than if you've really learned.
They'll know what's happening in 33rd.
And Steve, I've got the privilege of being embedded with his
and he's out.
Team
Wonder where he goes
weekend,
next year.
Some fun
it hasn't been announced yet for where
Sunday
he's going.
Here from Michigan International Speedway, such an iconic group, the Wood Brothers Racing, and all the history they've had in NASCAR. They're NASCAR's oldest team. They've won so many times here.
Yeah, me
Michigan.
too, Martin.
Ford has
but I hope you get to go, Wyatt. I hope he gets to run tomorrow.
And
he
the
can be our
they've won with, it's just
at the track reporter
of who's been in the sport. So we'll cover some of those stories as well as internally some of the people you may not know on the 21 team, and a little bit more on Harrison Burton and Jeff. Yes,
Larson,
we might have
Gillen,
some of those nice
Cody Ware
baby pictures of Harrison as he was learning how to drive with you and Kim's help as he was growing up in the sport. But fun to do. We'll tell those stories on Sunday and look forward to you tuning in and hearing more about the 21 team Wood Brothers Racing.
Jeff, I want to know how open you're going to be as far as how you helped train Harrison to focus.
He's come close a couple times.
Some of the stories you've told us, are you going to tell those to the fans?
Probably not.
Because they were fun. I will tell you, I have enjoyed listening to a lot of those stories. But, yes, it's always great when we're able to get that close to a certain team and talk about the personnel, the people, the personalities.
Michael?
Just dive in a little bit deeper to the people on those teams that we embed with, and one of those will be the 21 this week of Harrison Burton. So again,
one of those days,
a little precipitation
it looks like.
passing through the area has the red flag out.
All right, so let's see here. Let's take a look at the points. Let's do that. Let's take a look at the points really quick. Appreciate everybody coming in here. We are under red flag conditions for qualifying right now. Trying to there we go. So the regular season standings, we got Kyle Larson. Let me get rid of this practice button here so we can actually see. We're under a red flag right now due to weather, so we're going to kind of go over some things right here. Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney in the top 5. But that's the regular season point standing. Kyle Larson trying to win the regular season championship. But here is your playoff drivers. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Ryan Blaney, Tyler Reddick, Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, Joey Logano. Unfortunately, he did not get deducted any points. He's already in the playoffs, but Joey Logano in 10th, Daniel Suarez 11th, Austin Cindric 12th, Martin Truex Jr. There. He is plus 78. He had over 100 and some points last week, and then he had that engine blow, so that kind of gave him a hurt little bit. You got Ty Gibbs at plus 18, and then Bubba Wallace at plus 3. And then you got Chris Buescher right there on the line at 0 points. He's right on the cutoff at 16th. And then you got Ross Chastain, you got Chase Briscoe. Kyle Busch, he is 119 points out of the playoffs right now. So it's going to take a win for him to get in there. So I'm in the 11 car at qualifying at Daytona. Nice, Triton. I love that game. Todd Gilliland, same thing. Take a win. Michael McDowell, probably a win as well. But all these guys, out of these guys here, I know everybody's going to say Kyle Busch, but Ross Chastain. But other than Ross Chastain or Kyle Busch, who do you think could find himself in the playoffs these next 3 races? You got Michigan, Daytona, and Darlington. What do you think of the 3 what drivers do you think could make the playoffs here with an upset win somewhere? Of course, you got Michael McDowell. He could win Daytona. He's always good there. Todd Gilliland as well. The Front Row Motorsports is strong at Daytona. So Josh Berry and Noah Gragson. Next week, anything can happen. You're right.
Now, the breeze trying to help keep the track dry. Again, it was just a light shower that had passed through, but you see that it's all around us right now as we take a look at the radar. And as we heard from one of the crew chiefs, you don't see some of it on radar, but there might be a little mist in the area as well.
From what I do see there, I'm not sure I would be panicked about qualifying. I think I would use this 26 minutes to run as many race laps. I say that because now that we're in one group, as soon as this group ends, there'll be a little break, and then you have to go qualify. So if I was one of the earlier cars on the first session, I would quit a little bit early and try to make sure my car gets cooled down. But looking at that radar and looking off in the distance with the potential of even more rain, I think I would just use all the track time I thought I could to be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, and this was NASCAR in a tough spot also. You know, when do you open the racetrack with, you know, the radar showing the weather's that close? They you know, they're going to be very cautious of when they send drivers.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be definitely leaning on all their spotters around the racetrack. They're going to be listening to the drivers.
They're putting their gloves back on. That's a good thing.
Anything on the windshields, and they'll throw that caution very quickly.
Well, somebody has made the decision because
they're both in right now.
15 seconds from now, they're going to make the track green once again.
All right, here we go.
That's what you're
green
seeing
flag.
is the cars all trying to take advantage of maybe
Bubba,
a little bit of track
Mosh,
time,
what's up, dude?
There is some ominous weather around this track. It could hit sooner than later.
Every time I see that shot, I think, what would it look like if we did standing starts in NASCAR? Or better yet, remember how they used to run to the car and get in the car?
Yes.
Not us, but
I don't think that would be very wise either.
No, either one of them sounded like a smart idea.
Now it takes about 2 people to get the window net up in one of these cars.
All right, back on the track.
You see cars out on track.
Got about 25 minutes left.
Being led by that 5 of Kyle Larson. And again, the 11, the 8 were not
What's up,
out
Todd?
on
Good to
track
see you.
before.
When was that?
It's been quite a season already for Kyle Larson.
When was that?
4 wins, the most of any drivers here in 2024. He has the most playoff points at 28.
Was that Tuesday or Wednesday?
A little bit of sun peeking through the clouds right now, so a good opportunity for these drivers and teams to learn a little bit about this racetrack.
What's up, Dallas?
Denny Hamlin's made his way out.
Yeah, we talk a lot about the 3 and the finish and the
lots
of
of folks can win this thing. Wednesday, I was in Knoxville.
Front stretch was not a small hit. You know, these cars have a lot of crush kind of nose to tail, and they have that styrofoam on either door. But Jeff, when you kind of hit slap right side like he hit, that was a pretty big shot for the 11.
Yeah, really big shot.
You wonder what tires are worth. Ross Chastain jumps to the top of the board, 5th lap on tires. So I was mentioning the hit, right? It was
with a
right
42, huh?
You're going to see contact.
Interesting.
The 11 comes into the picture, gets caught in the right rear quarter panel, and just watch how hard this 11 hits. It doesn't look as bad.
Not at all.
Hits on both wheels.
Yeah, where it hurts is this first part. The nose gets in, then boom, the right rear comes in and hits.
It was a hard hit Denny took.
That slapping action. You know, I've said this before. One of the biggest hits I ever took in my life was a hit that looked very similar to that. And I actually drove the car. It was in practice.
22 minutes left in this practice, and then qualifying will happen. No groups, all Group A and B.
Didn't want any part of that again.
Did you have the headrest at that
Everybody
time?
is out there now.
Headrest?
I did.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think is such a huge advancement is you hit that hard. You have to have something that's going to stop your helmet from moving.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of talk about shoulders. You know, it used to be wrapped around your ribs back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Drivers would have rib injuries, and it's safer, this big cocoon that you're kind of held in on the outside of your shoulders. We've seen Denny Hamlin with shoulder surgery.
He's blowing it up, Robert.
Had shoulder surgery, so we've seen these shoulder conversations.
Don't drink,
you see
don't
right
drive
here just how
water-belly
kind of encapsulated Martin Truex Jr. is. Obviously, his head, not a lot of room next to his head because you don't want to get it rattling when you hit. And his shoulders, I mean,
Here's
you're
the
really
pickle car.
kind of sit right in there. Hand out the window. Yeah, 19 of Truex, currently second on the board on his 7th lap. Waving to, I think it was the 99 he passed down the backstretch. Look how calm his hands are, Jeff.
4 runner-up finishes for
really
Truex
nice
here in Michigan. No wins.
Look at careers.
But he's finished top 10 in the last 8 races.
A lot more now as he's announced his retirement at the end of the season.
And won both stages last year.
4 times he's been a runner-up here and has not been able
to. Could Truex go out with a bang?
Lane. 2 stages that he's won were here a year ago, but not able to
keep hitting that like button, trying to get to 100 likes on the qualifying, practice and qualifying stream.
That's full commitment around this racetrack. And Steve, you talked about it earlier, how smooth this racetrack is. You can see his head's not moving around much.
Yeah, can't watch it for tomorrow.
Action going on in the wheel, but it is full commitment. Over 200 miles per hour. Drives way down in the corner before he lifts. Immediately trying to carry speed again.
192.3 for Ross Chastain.
He was part of that amazing battle last year, Buescher and Truex. Buescher kind of
Watermelon Man
pit strategy. And we thought,
not yet, Michael. Yesterday, Sheldon Creed got the pole for the Xfinity race.
Good enough car, but Buescher had a good enough car, limit the mistakes, put his car in all the right positions. Truex had a couple looks, but could never clear him. And Buescher went on to win. This is that section in the summer where he won 3 in a row. The driver.
That means they're going to be bad tomorrow.
201. I mean, look at the toe is real, right? That's 202 miles an hour. And I don't believe you'd see that top speed without that car out in the distance getting the toe. I think that's the 45 of Tyler Reddick.
You described it pretty well, Steve, but let's take a look with video to show you what happened.
Yeah, you see Truex kind of get held up there behind the 99, right behind him being chased by the 17 of Buescher. The 17... Oh, excuse me, that was 2 years ago. Then they come back.
That was a stage win, too, by the way, the 19 got. But Buescher able to go on and win that race.
Yeah, I was thinking that was... I knew who won the race, and the 17 had looped in front of the 19, and all the crew chiefs kind of noticed that, right? And that's what I love about this place. You have to have, great horsepower, great aerodynamics, a good handling race car, full commitment from the drivers, you point out, Jeff. But you also have to get your strategy right. You just can't take a great race car, put on 4 tires every time and think you're going to be correct. And the opposite is you can't take a bad race car, hit the strategy perfect, and think you're going to be good enough to hold off your competition as wide as this place is.
Yeah, it's really wide, but, not every groove is the same.
Landed in 4 weeks.
At the bottom
That's
of the
right.
racetrack, saw William Byron right there trying to.
Yeah, he had his engine blow last week, Steve.
That bottom,
he was the only Toyota that had it blow.
24 is now. It's a little less banking, a little less grip.
Chastain, Truex, Larson, Byron.
Unless you could jump on the outside of him. That's what's always been difficult about this racetrack is a guy gets that second or third lane going, and you get down there on the bottom. You may be quicker in the corner, but it hurts you on corner exit. See William right there trying to run the same lane as Noah. Hurt his car. Looked like he got tight to me. Car just didn't turn the way he wanted it to.
Keep on hitting that like button for us. Thank you guys so much.
This is what practice is about, right?
Yeah, starting in Atlanta 3 weeks from now.
Kind of ran the 10 car down.
Well, 4 weeks.
I couldn't do anything with him. Why? What is it that I need my car to do better? And not only from a car standpoint, but what can I do better? What is it that I could try? Could I have a different entry? Could I try to carry a little more speed on entry? All these little things that a driver can impact. That's what Williams learning right now.
Last lap, they were separated by 0.2 of a second, with actually William Byron going a little bit slower than the 10 of Noah Gragson. Practice still underway here at Michigan.
Mosh, you still here? I'll give you my opinion on the whole Dillon thing. Like I said earlier, I think that NASCAR made an example out of Austin Dillon, and I don't think a driver will be that aggressive anymore for the rest of the year due to that situation. Like, if they can take someone out of the playoffs, they can take points away in the playoffs. They can do whatever they want. So I think NASCAR made an example out of Austin Dillon. So that's my opinion. No, I cannot show the race, Wyatt. I cannot do that. Sheila, which race are you going to miss coming up? So we're going to miss the first 2 races in the playoffs. I'm going on a cruise with Spain, and well-deserved. Spain has put up with a lot of every weekend doing this with you all. So we'll miss the first 2 races of the playoffs, but we'll be back right after that. So, but we'll definitely be back for the remainder of the playoffs. So. But yes, I'll be here for the next 3 races. Then I'll be gone for Atlanta and Watkins Glen, and I'll be back after that. So, but yeah, so we're trying to maybe talk to Mosh to see if maybe he could fill in for me. Maybe we'll see. But his schedule is just so busy as well, and lots of stuff going on. But we'll figure it out. If not, we'll be back after we got the 3 races, and then we'll miss Watkins Glen and Atlanta. So, but the 3 races is what's really important. The last 3 races of the season here are really important because it gets really good. And then some people, if their driver's not in it to win it, they're not going to watch. So that's how it was last year. Our playoff ranking, our playoff views went down considerably considering what we had during the regular season. But yeah, I totally think that they made an example out of Austin Dillon, and that's it. And it will make every driver think about things now on the last lap if you're going to make a move. And does it look like you pushed them into the wall? I mean, they could go back and do a lot of things. Like look at Denny. They could have done something to Denny, took him out of the playoffs. I mean, even though he already had a win, but I'm just saying, like, back when he hit Larson into the wall. It's the same thing. But anyways.
Red has just come out.
And another red flag.
And probably weather once again, but it's a good call. It's getting darker over in turn 1. We have documented the turn.
We could have had qualifying over with by now.
If it would just have a burst of rain.
Come on,
when
Rick.
You're going in at 203.
Hold on, Rick. Be honest to the fans at home. You were getting nervous up here.
I was.
Said, man, I hope somebody's standing out by that water tower because if it rains,
man,
they do. This track, we could talk about speeds. Normally when you get to such a big track, it's just hard to feel it and see it. But the middle of 1 and 2, they look so fast.
So fast. Yeah, going into one, it's breathtaking to watch a car go 203 miles an hour and be turning. And that's where this rain is coming from, or at least that area.
Same thing.
The minimum speed.
Like when you're here,
the minimum speed is so high, right? It's so little fall off between top speed and middle. So look, everyone always asks me the question, does it feel fast? And you become used to it. It becomes what you do. And when it really feels fast is when you get pointed in the wrong direction. When you get you spin or something like that, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm flying. So. You do get immune to it a little bit, but where it feels
Dillon got what he deserved, Clip says.
Was the exit of turn 2, because that wall would jump out. It was every
Clips, are you a Logano fan?
You feel like you were going to hit it, and you were having to be in the throttle with tons of speed. If you weren't doing what you needed to do, and that to me always got my attention, Dave.
Jeff Alex Bowman was so fast.
24 minutes left.
Lap was best for
We're under a red flag
7th on the board. These were his comments when he came in.
The more I arc the corner, it's like I get lazier. Yeah, like I feel pretty decent, 3 and 4. I just don't have any front tires, like center exit of 1 and 2. I'm almost better with a narrower entry to load it harder.
Jeff, I wanted to ask you about that narrower entry to load the front end harder. How would that feel, and do you think that'd correct his problem?
Well, so the problem with that is when you start turning a little bit earlier than you want to, then what's going to happen? It's going to make it a little tighter.
Yeah, it was crazy, Martin, what he did on pit road.
You may have to do that trying to pass someone, and we just saw it. William Byron. You get behind a guy. How are you going to get by him? You got to turn a little bit earlier, and if you're going to do that, then the car has to rotate even better.
I was just curious.
The fear of that,
certain fans react certain ways.
Be able to turn
if their driver
early,
is involved.
Still rotate the middle, and then you do try to put a big late arc on it. Now you're too loose, and so getting in the corner, you don't have enough grip. It's a fine balance here with the speed that you guys keep talking about. If your car feels a little bit
I hope they race tomorrow, Deer Slayer.
It is a lot slower, especially if it's a little bit loose. The back of the car doesn't feel like it's happy. It doesn't feel like it's in the racetrack. You're scared to go full throttle when you really need to be going because the thing will turn around on you before you know it. So
I understand, Ricky. Yep.
Smooth
I see what you're saying.
The driver has to have comfort.
So again, precipitation has brought the cars back to pit road. We take a look at with turn 1 and turn 3, the speeds for Ross Chastain entering turn 1, just over 202 miles an hour, entering turn 3, 199 miles per hour.
Wow.
Again, they're averaging over 190 miles an hour for the whole lap.
All right. Eric Church says, seriously, CeeLo, your viewership went down during the playoffs. That's crazy. Yeah, it did. It really did. I mean, we weren't as big as we are now last year, but when you have major drivers that get knocked out of the playoffs, I mean, that's racing. I mean, people are like, if he's not racing and it's not, if he has nothing in it other than to win the race, which don't mean anything if you win the race because you're not getting, anything for it in the end, why am I watching? So, I mean, it happens. I mean, it really was. But let's see here. Martin says, at first I was upset and penalized for the final Logano, but then I seen the video of him on pit road, and I think he is lucky that he only got a 50,000. Yeah, because if he would have lost control at one time, that car was pointed toward a bunch of folks, and he could have lost control and ran over him. So, bad thing right there. Deer Slayer's asking about, is it going to race tomorrow? I hope definitely tomorrow. Steve says, seriously, CeeLo, your viewership went down. Eric Church says, everyone knows I'm a Gibbs fan, but Dillon, in my opinion, got off easy. Got a trophy he didn't earn. In 30 years, I've never seen such a coward move. And oh man, rainfill. Yep, it is. We're under caution right now due to rain. But we're going to see if we can get this qualifying in as well and the Xfinity race. I remember a certain sprint car driver was killed when Tony Stewart did something similar out of frustration, driving by revving up an engine out of frustration. These cars are powerful. Clip says, I don't have a problem with the Logano part, but he wrecked Denny on purpose, but not a Denny fan, but you can't do that. I understand that. And yes, it is raining again. Steve says, I'm a race fan. Even though my favorite driver is not in the playoffs, I still watch every race. Yeah, and I mean, they're going to watch it, but if you don't have... I'm just know what I saw last year. But also, we weren't as big as we were last year. So there's probably 12,000 more viewers now we have than we did last year. Everything Racing says, not a fan of the 3, but what he did was no different than what the 11 did to the 5, the 1 or the 24 Chase Elliott. Martinsville then 22 to 24, 20, so no then different. That's what I was saying, but that's what's going to look upon from now on. Like, people are going to be like, oh, I saw you do that. Like, okay, you're out. Like, NASCAR is going to have to from now on because of what they did. They made this decision on what they did. So now they can't go back, and if they don't penalize whoever else tries to make these moves in the future, it's not going to look good. So they're going to have to make these moves from now on. It doesn't matter. I watch all NASCAR streams right here, no matter who's in the playoffs. So I appreciate it, you guys. So we'll just see what happens here with the rain. Joshua says, will NASCAR lose race fans on this deal, over this deal? I don't think so, but it definitely... now, if Kyle Larson made this move on Denny Hamlin, do they throw the hammer down on Kyle Larson? Even though he's already in the playoffs, let's just say that's Kyle Larson's first win. You know, do they do that to another driver that is maybe a little more talented, a little higher up on the popularity scale than Austin Dillon? So
his way of maybe winning his way into the playoffs today. It's countdown to green at 3 o'clock here on USA.
Correct, Kimberly. I think you as well.
Racing at 3:30.
They did.
2 o'clock tomorrow. Countdown to green gets us ready for tomorrow's race at 2:30. And again, we'll be embedded with Ross Chastain and Harrison Burton, those teams in stage 2. As a matter of fact, we have the green light to chat with Ross Chastain right now.
Hey, Ross, it's Burton. You got us?
Good morning.
Good morning. You're having a great morning. P1 on the board, 3rd fastest and overall average. How's it feel?
It feels fast. Gosh, this place is awesome when you have grip and can keep the throttle down. Our Busch Light Peach Chevy, these guys, they hit a lot of their targets, I think, for travel and balance pretty good here. Yeah, it's been a good morning. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if it just washed out didn't let these guys get back on track.
Ross, you got you got a screen in front of you. How about telling us what you're looking at?
I was looking at some watermelon videos. I'm going to look at some peach stuff next.
I don't know what to say.
He's watching On the Go with CeeLo. That's what he's watching.
Good
Hi, Ross.
start. I know a lot
What's
of
up,
pressure on
Ross?
you guys right now trying to get in these playoffs. What do you guys feel like you got to do to make that happen?
I mean, for me, I feel like I back up from the end of the race, right? And points acquired.
Oh, Jake, he's not watching us?
Math in my mind. So to get there, though, you need speed. So to unload and everybody in the Cup Series be equal, rolling on track with mist and not knowing the conditions, and the fact that I can commit to throttle and naturally do it. I just go find the limit, right? And overstepped a little bit a few times and slid up the track already this morning a little bit, but it's okay. That's what practice is all about. So, yeah, points and speed, and I think we've got the first half of that equation already, and work on it a little bit more. There's plenty more to bite off this peach.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you letting us talk to you during practice. Know you're busy. Thanks for taking time.
Yeah, boys. Thank you.
Now, is he on West Coast time?
I wasn't going to ask. I figured he just was going 200 miles an hour. Maybe he time warped back to the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's, by the way, folks, if you're not from here, it's local time is 1:23 right now. So he keeps referring to morning, but that's okay. When you're going over 200 miles an hour,
16 minutes left here in this practice. I think they're not going to run anymore.
Ross Chastain is fastest in this very short practice that we have seen the Cup Series here in Michigan, still under a weather delay.
All right, so about 15 minutes left here. We'll go back and hear some other stuff here Our good friend Eric Church says, name a race Denny or Logano wrecked the leader twice in the last two turns. I'll wait. When did what Dillon did ever happen? Jeffrey says, I do not think NASCAR should have gotten involved. Bronny says, to be honest, NASCAR fans become real whiny when something bad happens towards Larson in terms of penalties. Ricky says he agrees. Everything Racing says, where Kyle on the speed chart? And he's in third. Kimberly says, if we don't get any more time on the track, will they line up the practice times or standings? They'll go by Group A and Group B, and that's it. That's how they'll go. They already have Group A and Group B already decided. I don't know if they'll do everybody all on one line or what, but we'll see how it goes. They do that at super speedways. So Martin says, I'd agree with you on everyone at the point has wrecked someone for a win, but when it comes to Dillon, it's a bit different as he has wrecked someone in all the races he's won. Jeffrey said, how many bump and runs have we seen over the years with absolutely no penalties? Correct. Like that happened so much at Bristol. We've seen it at Daytona. We've seen it everywhere. But now like it's going to be different. So Lloyd says, exactly, things are changing with these new rulings. They're definitely using Dillon to send a clear message. In the past, they didn't do anything really. We're in new NASCAR now. Have y'all seen Chase Elliott's new paint scheme for Michigan? Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I think you're talking about Atlanta. Are you talking about the Atlanta one where the kid designed it? Let's see here. Did I lose? 1 second. Then Jeffrey said, why was it different? Why did Austin Dillon's different than everybody else? Darwin says they need to give Dillon a waiver, just like they did for Larson. Rules state that you have to run all races to make the playoffs, to qualify for the playoffs, and it was his choice to go to Indy. And there's another stint. Like NASCAR wanted Larson to go to Indy because look how many of us watched the Indy 500 this year. Like tons of us sat there and watched the Indy 500. I mean, we're all going to watch it anyways, but in a NASCAR streamer watching the Indy 500, and we were all talking about Kyle Larson, and it brought a lot to the sport. So NASCAR knew that too as well. And it looks like the cars are now getting wrapped.
Front is coming through. Big cell, and we are being told now from NASCAR that practice is done and qualifying also has been canceled. Here comes that big cell as it is just probably seconds away.
Yeah, I like the idea of go ahead and just canceling qualifying, get all the equipment off pit road. That cell is imminent.
Kyle Larson's on the pole tomorrow.
Well, get everybody kind of to cover. Now, the good news is I think it will move through, and there's going to be some time to drive the track for the Xfinity Series race, but there's no reason to sit out here and wait for whatever is in the middle of that cell to get here.
So we take a look at the starting grid without having qualifying.
Oh, Denny's on the pole.
And that puts Denny Hamlin and Tyler Reddick on the front row. And a lot of that is because of finishing positions from last week's race. You see Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson.
Oh, they do it from last week's race? They don't do it by points?
Ryan Blaney, all
when did that change?
4 rows.
Yeah, I thought Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain actually two of the best cars in practice. You see William Byron. Austin Dillon back there in row 5 just wants to repeat last week's feat. A little less controversy, goes to victory lane. He'd be back in the playoffs.
Kyle Busch will be starting in row 7.
Chris Buescher back in row 9. You know, he and Chastain are essentially tied for this battle, and advantage so far, or disadvantage rather, to Chris Buescher.
And that engine issue last week for Truex will have him all the way back in row 12, another good car in practice. You mentioned it, Rick, a couple TRD engines over the last couple months. This is an engine track.
I don't know. I thought it was points. Yeah, I thought so too.
30 points last week.
Tons of changes, man.
Issue and where he finished there. So now only 70-some points above that cut line as we look at the end of this grid with John Hunter Nemechek, Harrison Burton, A.J. Allmendinger, and Cody Ware rounding out the 36 cars. So with the rain imminent and the storm about to come through, you see a couple Penske drivers out of their cars with Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano.
So now with the limited amount of practice that you had, these conversations, they're going to sit down and have a more in-depth conversation, but many times these conversations right after the driver gets out of the car, they're the most important because the driver's telling you right then what he felt. You're going to analyze it later, but, you know, what a driver felt, in the moment, I think that's really important. And these engineers, crew chiefs, they will sit down and they're going to spend an amazing amount of time trying to make the final decisions on what to do to their race cars. But I really enjoyed, Steve, those few minutes right after the driver gets out of the car.
Yeah, they'll spend that time talking about their car. They'll tune in the Xfinity Series to see what the track does. If there's any question about the track and the groove, I think this track specifically is pretty straightforward. We've seen a lot of racing here, but any bit of information you can glean over the course of the weekend.
So the least amount of laps in that practice session.
Thank you, William, for subscribing. Appreciate it.
He's going to start on pole. The most laps, 18, I believe, 18 or 19, were turned by William Byron. But the least amount of information as far as being able to give back to his team, Denny Hamlin, is that going to hurt him for his setup for tomorrow?
Well, his 5th lap was his fastest. You know, I don't think it'll hurt him. I think I'd be concerned if he had only run 5 laps and I thought he was way off on pace, but it looked to me like the overall speed's pretty good.
And let's hear from last week's race winner. Austin Dillon is standing by with Dave.
Yeah, it's been quite a week for Austin. The talk of everywhere NASCAR has been Austin Dillon and what happened at Richmond. What's the week been like for you, kind of dealing with it all?
I mean, it's been tough. Obviously, a lot going on. But Monday was a lot of fun. Sunday night was a lot of fun. We got our Dow Chevrolet here this week, and it's good. We get to start 10th, I guess, because of the metric this week, so that's special. And we're going to go out there and give it all we got again. And with the current situation, we need to win. Hopefully, after our appeal, we get back in the playoffs where we deserve to be. And just excited about what we've got going on at RCR.
What's the thought process with the appeal, Austin? Is it, hey, we want everything back? We disagree with everything? Is there kind of a process there?
Truthfully, I think the best thing I can say right now is we've got an appeal process. I think this entire sport, you know, I've got to be careful with what I give out right now and for the appeal process, because it's going to be like a trial. It really is. And wish everybody could see it. The television would be cool to be in there. But, you know, because I haven't really given my entire story of the game yet. And I feel like Denny did a really good job on his podcast, giving his side of the story adamantly this week, a couple extra podcasts than he normally does. And, you know, for us, I also listened to his podcast when he talked about the appeal process and how tough it is. So I'm going to do my best to get our RCR in the playoffs where they need to be, where they deserve to be currently. And from there, I will give all the media and everybody else my exact feelings after that's all said and done and over with. But, man, I can't say enough about NASCAR. You know, they've given me everything I've got in this life, even my wife and kids. You know, I met my wife at the racetrack. So I'm thankful for winning races. We've got a win this year, which feels really good. And, yeah, we'll just keep going and seeing what comes of the next couple weeks.
And on a night, by the way, when you arguably had the best car. You took us behind the curtain there just a little bit on the appeal process. So let's be clear. You are going to be star witness. You get to, in your own words, describe what happened, right?
I think I obviously have my turn to talk about what happened. You know, Justin will be in there, my crew chief. We'll go through as much as we can and give our side of the story. It's the best thing I can say and see where it goes from there. But, man, this week's all about Dow and our Chevrolet. We got a lot of coverage for Bass Pro Shops, Tracker Boats, and that hunting sale last week. So we'll see what we can do this week.
You had just 10 laps out there. We know one thing. It is very fast here. What else did you experience on track?
Well, we took off pretty good. You know, we had the cycle on tires right there, and the car was a bit more free. So we got to adjust for that. And when we get done debriefing with Justin, I think we got a good car. It's got some speed.
As good as it was at Richmond compared to the field?
I don't know. I mean, you know, Richmond, we just did a very good job of executing in a lot of ways. We started off practice. We knew what we wanted to do with the reds and the yellows, and we were able to set quick time. This week, standard tire, and we were more focused on race trim. And I think I would like to qualify, but we start 10th. We'll have a good pit stall.
Billy Bowles, what's up?
Man, never know what the good Lord might bring us this weekend.
Back to last week, one last time. There were 2 other drivers involved, right? So what has been the follow-up with Joey? Obviously, he got fined, right? And so and Denny was involved too. Have you talked with them? Is there a need to do that?
Yeah, no, I haven't talked to either of them. And I actually addressed the Denny part in some of my interviews earlier today, and I didn't get to address the Joey part, and I probably should have. You know, for Joey, I'm sorry for the situation that he was in. You know, it didn't matter if it was Joey or anybody. I was going to do my best to get my team to victory lane. The situation on pit road after the race, a lot of things were said in the heat of moment from him, about my family and my belief in Christ even. So, for me, I forgive him for him getting frustrated. The pit road part with the race car was a lot. I don't know where that was kind of out of line. And I think NASCAR took care of it. But I forgive him, and I'm sure he's still mad at me for what's going on in the racetrack. But this is a game in the end, and you don't hate the player, you hate the game. That was the situation that I was up against. And, I learned a lot from Joey and Denny over the years. They don't have any regrets in what they do on the racetrack. And I can't either, and I don't feel that way. I'm not going to say I regret anything, because I went to sleep and felt really good about everything I had to do for me and my team. And I have gone to sleep some nights staying up till 3 or 4 in the morning wondering what I could have done differently. On this situation, I don't know what I could have done.
And many years ago as a young driver, I don't think you would have had this perspective. You've grown a lot over time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think I would have handled it the same way or answered any of the questions as you guys are answering me in certain ways. But the sport, the landscape of it has changed, and how we do certain things, We're trying to create drivers with personality, and I've been told that a lot by NASCAR themselves. So it's interesting. You want to do everything you can to help you and your team, and I think everybody did their job this week to try and voice their opinion on how it would help themselves and their team on the situation. But truthfully, not everybody was involved in that situation. There was 3 people.
Austin, thanks for your time. A lot of honesty right there from Austin Dillon, dealing with the aftermath of last week, guys. Still the winner from Richmond.
All right, so I wanted y'all to hear that. I wanted to be quiet and burn that stuff. But so, I mean, you heard it right there from him. They're showing it again. But well, until NASCAR makes a decision, we'll see how it goes. But as Robert, I was just looking through some of the comments. Robert said, didn't Joey turn Kenseth? And didn't Denny turn Truex? And didn't Denny turn Chase? Didn't Denny turn Kyle? I mean, this could go on and on. What goes around comes around, and that's what happened to the boys. But yeah, Jeffrey says he agreed on Darwin. So what he said, Eric Church says, stop saying they done the same. Name the races. Anyone pulled that crap. Is the Xfinity race and Logano race? And no, he is not, Cyrus. Bump and run or hit someone from 3 car lengths back and then right hook somebody. That's a little different than a bump and run. Robert says you hit them hard as you can. You want to. They hit as hard as they can. Bronny says the 1 and the 15 for today's race is Lawless Allen. F1 is like watching a Macy's Day Parade. It's Charles says it's time for Chase Elliott to show a little more this week. Larson is clearly deserving of a waiver. It's completely different. Denny Hamlin was the final car in the Group B. Martin says, yes, Lawless Allen, that's a cool name. The 15, the paint scheme. Let's see here. Eric Church says, he's handled every win the same. He wrecked someone to get there. Lloyd says, CeeLo, can you do a poll on this stream? Yeah, we can do a poll. I just don't, because I have a pin message and a poll, sometimes it messes up. As Robert says, I'm going to stick to my pick of Denny winning the championship finally. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes. Are they still going to do a qualifying later? No, qualifying is canceled. Qualifying has been canceled because of the rain. Xfinity race is at 2:30 Central. We'll probably go a little live earlier than 2:15, depending on what they'll go live on USA at 2 p.m. Central, but it is raining pretty hard now, so we'll see how that goes. Jim McKay says, Demolition Derby is not racing. If you want to watch international wrecks, go to your local county fair demo derby. That's right. I'm going to the county fair tonight, hopefully. There's an Earnhardt in the Xfinity race. It's Jeffrey, though, and he's had an in-car camera, so we'll ride along with Earnhardt today. Hopefully we get a chance to do that. Did y'all hear that Kurt Busch was charged? Yeah, I heard that too. And let's see what else. Anybody else? Don't lift. Just ride right through them. So, but Popper, we'll see. They're still letting him talk.
There's more of you.
No, they're talking about it. But so, Denny Hamlin is on the pole for tomorrow's race. interesting. I always thought it went back to points if it was the rain. If it was rain, qualified by points. No, they qualified by last week's. But that doesn't make any sense either. Because Denny Hamlin, I don't know. NASCAR comes up with different rules all the time. I always thought if qualifying was rained out, qualifying was based on points. So interesting. So they will be pointed. He didn't get penalized for that, Jeffrey, but NASCAR did ban the move. Stop calling it a bump and run. It was a drive-through. And then right hook on another driver. Dillon got exactly what he deserved, Ricky says. Okay. Yeah, let me explain that to me, Bronny, because it doesn't make any sense to me. But we are under rain delay, and practice is over, and qualifying has been canceled. So Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick on the pole on the front row. So I'm going to let's listen just a little bit longer here. Nope, they're going to commercial. So that is it. I don't either. Bronny's going to give me an explanation here in a second. We'll read it here in a second. Bronny's got it. Hold on a second. Bronny, did you put it up yet? No, haven't seen it yet. He's typing it, I'm sure. We'll wait on Bronny's. Here we go. Bronny's typing to me right now. He's going to let us know the explanation of this. JJ says that wasn't a bump and run. It was a dive bomb. Rubbins Racing used to be a thing, Michael says. Let's go Larson. Let's go Larson. NASCAR is a kiss up to Joe Gibbs Racing, Chris Davis says. So we will be bringing you the Xfinity race today. Stay tight with us. You will be redirected as well. And I'll put the pin message. Hold on a second. Let me do that right now. Let me put the pin message there for that, y'all, so you know that. Join us for the Xfinity race today. And paste. There's that. Place message. All right, there's the link for the pin message above. That is for the Xfinity race today. Hopefully we can get that in. Bronny says they determined the lineup by qualifying order. Group A will start at even starting positions. Group B will start with an odd starting position. Since Reddick was the final car in Group A, he'll be started in second as a result of the cancellation. And since Hamlin was the final car to qualify in Group B, Hamlin is the beneficiary of the pole winner. There you go. Thank you, Bronny, for that explanation. Appreciate that. Why don't they just go back to points? Seems like it's a lot easier. Reward the guy who's in charge, has the most points for the pole. That's how it should be. Not this craziness with Group A and Group B, inside, outside. That's dumb. You going to live the race? Yes, everything. We're going to show the race tomorrow as well, and tonight for the Xfinity race. As Earnhardt Sr. used to say, Dillon ran out of talent. Logano lineup, row 7. Thanks, found it. Kimberly says, in Indy, it was NASCAR catering to HMS. Now it's changed to Joe Gibbs. If you have to accelerate in a known braking area, you're in the wrong, Eric says. Ronald says, people interpret NASCAR rulings depending on who their drivers are. They will change in every wreck. He's right. Lloyd says, I remember when the 24 Gordon got a grandfather clock after bumping both teammates, Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr. Kenneth says, so no news rule. So now new rules. Yeah, it's crazy. Why is always a Gibbs Hendrick Penske car winning, if not controversy? Cyrus says, I'm on Logano's side with Austin Dillon beef. Michael says, brakes are used if you can save the car. Cool if you can't. That's on you, in my opinion. Racing should be a lot better when it wasn't involved. Back-to-back pole for DH. Yeah, Denny Hamlin, let's go, baby. Number 11, baby. If you can't make the corner because you're going so fast, you need something else car to stop you, you're in the wrong. Steven says this qualifying thing is crazy. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, but hey, Denny, let's go. Martin says, they just can't keep simple things simple. Thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate that. The Untouchable Chappie. And Chase is 6th, I believe so. Boys, have at it. That's right. So there you go, y'all. Hope you guys had a good time today. We didn't get everything in that we wanted to, but it is what it is. So it is coming down pretty good now. So I don't know.
Car and be able to beat him. And that's something that I don't think we've ever seen really Kyle Larson make a statement about. Just the confidence that he has now in his driving abilities.
I've said it. I'm glad he backed me up.
Yeah.
I think I think Kyle has taken, and when I say that's a compliment, he's taken for granted how good he is. And I think as he gets older, he's starting to look back and he's like, I won this, I won that, and he's like, I'm really good. And I'm glad that he's getting there. Like I've never seen anyone like him and be able to do all the things he does and compete at the level. We compare him to, Andretti, that type of guy. And I've never seen anyone in NASCAR that runs every week that can win in as many types of race cars as he can.
And I'm thankful that the people around him support that, right? Rick Hendrick, Jeff Gordon, Chevrolet, whether it's a sprint car team, because talent like that should be on display for the fans. So I'm thankful that he has the ability to run the Indy 500 and run at Eldora and run at Knoxville and come here and run. When someone's that talented, the fans deserve to see it. And I think he's better on Sunday with very little sleep from a sprint car on Saturday night than if he sits here and doesn't get to go race other places.
So we mentioned RCR and talking.
It looks like it's clearing, though, the other way, so we'll see how it goes. I wanted to say one other thing. I saw someone say something. Are they interviewing Kyle Busch?
Rick, I was going to jump in on the diverse driver, and at the times he ran all three traveling series on the weekend.
Here's Rowdy.
A couple of times at least on the weekend. So you've done a lot of different things. This year has not been the one that you've wanted. Are things turning around? Are they headed the right direction now for RCR? Last week was a great example of the 3-car.
Yeah, no question. I feel like there's a lot of hardworking men and women up in Welcome. So the purpose of all of that is to get stronger, get better, and I think the 3-car proved that last week, driving to the front, passing for the lead under green, and having a 3-second lead before the final caution. But I think that's sort of the culmination of everything coming together, and I don't think we're done yet either. There's Richard's on the phone a lot. There are a lot of everybody's been working real hard on trying to figure out where the pieces are missing and putting a lot of that back together.
And that was Austin, behind the wheel of Austin's car. Are yours and your driving styles, are they so different that it wasn't just like, well, some people were asking, well, geez, why didn't Kyle race at the front?
Yeah, I asked that same question, and they were like, well, the 3 kind of went off a little bit on their own thing on what they were going to do while we kind of stayed with the GM Key Partner program, and obviously it worked for the 3 cars. So next time we go to Richmond, do we all go that way? Probably, right? So nature of it, you're trying to follow along with the guys that have had tried and true and good results with the things that they've been running. So we stuck with that plan, and I would say we all, the 24, the 5, us, we all ran similar together lap time wise, and so we just didn't have what the 3 had there at the end. So that was really good.
What did you see in 8 laps out here? I know it went quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can't get off of 2. Can get into 1 okay. As soon as I get to the middle, I just start chattering the front tires, and I can't get off the corner as fast as the other guys are, the ones that are faster. So I got a little bit to do to get the car to wrap the corner and make the speed that we need for them to be able to get down the next straightaway. Straightaways here are long, got to have a lot of horsepower, so ECR's got that, but we got to make our car that much better.
Austin saw an opportunity last weekend to make his way into the playoffs. With the tracks remaining, Kyle, you kind of look out and see yours with the tracks coming up?
Well, last year we were pretty good here. I wouldn't say that we were great, but we had good speed. We were coming back through and moving forward in the 12 laps that we had. But it felt like our car was good from practice to the race and things like that. So obviously Daytona's always kind of been good for us here ever since I've joined RCR, and good speed there. Was hoping that I'd have my teammate to be able to help me and be my guy, to just focus on me and getting that 8 car the win. And maybe that still happens with the appeal process, but all in all, we've got a couple good tracks here coming, so we're ready to go.
And is Daytona a hard one to anticipate because it is kind of wild card?
For sure, yeah, it always is. There's 36 guys that show up and walk through the gate that have a shot to win, so at least think they have a shot to win. So they're going to go out and prove that they can. And a lot of Hail Marys are thrown out there sometimes, and a lot of wrecks happen. So you just got to be in the right place at the right time and hope for the best there.
Not in the playoffs yet, but he has potential guys. Kyle Busch, anywhere.
Kimberly, the rain came and canceled practice and then qualifying as well. What time will the Xfinity stream start? Should start around. I'm going to wait till they go live at 2 o'clock and see what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. But 2:15 is when the stream is supposed to start. And the link is in the pin message above, and you guys will be redirected over there as well. So make sure you hit the like button for us. Hit the subscribe if you're just checking out to see who won the poll. But it looks like the rain is just going to be a factor all day long with this little here, little there. So I'm not sure what's going to happen today. But make sure you stick with us. Hit your notification bells so you know when we go live. And that is it. So there it is. Ross Chastain, #1 on speed. He has to win or do something this weekend. And there he is, Ross Chastain in that Peach Bush Light Chevrolet. But the clouds, they're very spotty. So we'll see how it goes. But see you guys pretty soon. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight for the practice and qualifying for the FireKeepers Casino 400. Tomorrow, Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick on the pole due to a NASCAR rule from last week's finishing. So hope everybody did well. Hope you had a good time. Thanks for the love. Appreciate all the comments. But I'm going to go for a little while. We'll be back here. See an update in our stream at 2 o'clock Central on my side. Thanks to the lovely wife, Spain, for everything you do, baby. She's back there somewhere. There she is. And then I want to thank my mods for moderating, my members for giving their hard-earned money back to their channel, and you guys for watching here on a Saturday for some practice and qualifying that you can't even watch. I appreciate that. Until then, we'll see you soon for some Xfinity race, the Cabo Wabo 250 here pretty soon. I'm out. We'll see you later. Have fun on your port transfer over to the next stream. Peace out.